Hi, everyone. I'm Lee, and I'm here with Juji, Shira, and Kim. Taris is out. She is unfortunately under the weather today, but we are five friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups, and we are coming together to offer healing and inspiration. We want our audience, that's you guys, to get to know each one of us a little bit better. If you recall, in our last episode, we were speaking with Kim and about her health struggle. And we are going to continue that today in our episode 2 of Kim and her health struggle and how she has this incredible story to share with us. Kim, the last time we spoke, you left us off, you were on your bathroom floor, you were crying, you were ashamed, but you had this message that came to you and you had an awakening. Can you share a little bit more with us on that?
Yeah. So like I said, there I was on my bathroom floor. I was sobbing like I had never sobbed before, and I had sobbed quite a bit in my life on the bathroom floor. And I just had this, you can call it a voice or an inner knowing, or there was something about that moment where something inside of me was very clear that I had to learn how to love myself with or without my skin disease, with or without these spots on my skin. I had to learn how. And it was just such a huge awakening moment for me because I didn't even know that was a possibility. Not feeling shame for my skin, or let's just say feeling shame, period, was my norm. It was a feeling in me that was just so normal that I was used to it. And it felt so bad, like all the time. It was like at this, low level. It was just living inside of me. But I didn't really realize how bad it was and how long I carried that around for until I actually started to learn how to love myself, how to lift that feeling of shame. Until I started to do that work and I started to really feel love for myself, when that feeling of shame lifted, it was like, I just felt like, oh my gosh, like I could have felt this way for the last 20 something years of my life. And it was never a waste. Anything we feel in life, we go through hard times, it's never a waste. It helps teach us, and we learn all these lessons that we can take later on in life to be happier, to help others, right? We have all this opportunity. All of those tough times and terrible emotions, I see now how they're really just such an opportunity to live a better life going forward. So
Can I ask you
yeah.
something? So you're on the bathroom floor, you're completely hysterical, you have this like probably through your tears, because I've had that too. And then you just like, how do I learn to love myself in this condition? So it's like, all right, so you brush yourself off, you get up, and then like what did you do? Like, did you start reading something? Did you start like researching? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. The universe did it for me. So I was like, okay, universe, like how do I love myself? And I had a dog. His name was Max. And I remember I was sitting on the bathroom floor with Max, and Max was so sick. He was sick for so many years that I had him. He was on like 6 different medications, and he could barely walk. He was overweight. He was this little beagle. And I just was like petting him, and he gave me unconditional love. So he was like my companion at that time. And I just asked the universe how, and then that was it. I just kind of waited for the answer, I guess. I didn't really do anything. And then shortly after that, very shortly, my dog's vet said to me, I took him in for his annual exam, and she was just sitting there in horror at how bad his quality of life was. And she said, Kim, I know that you're buying him this really expensive, raw, organic dog food from Canada. She said, and I know that you think it's helpful. But if you were to just not give him anything processed, because at the end of the day, no matter how raw or organic it is, you don't know what's in it. You don't know. But if you actually just make whole food for him, you know, chicken and fish and vegetables and fruit and brown rice and sweet potatoes and all of these whole food items that you and I would eat, she said, I guarantee you that's going to make such a difference and help him live a more healthier, give him better quality of life, well, for the time that he still has. And at the time, first of all, I had no connection to me with food and my skin. Like, that was not even a thought. The only thought in my head was, that's really expensive and time consuming. But I was so desperate that I felt compelled to try it. And I tried it, and like a freaking miracle just happened. I watched my dog in 2 months go from not being able to walk to outright running down the freaking street. Like,
That's amazing.
it was,
Wow.
I can't even, it was amazing. And he lost all this weight. In 6 months, I had him off every medication. He was on 6 medications plus an inhaler for his chronic bronchitis. I got him off all of that. My vet said it was the most rewarding part of her career, was like seeing cases like this. And 1 year into his healing journey, she said his 11-year-old insides were that of a 6-month-old puppy.
Oh my God.
He was a different dog. And that was the moment that, even just a few months in, I was like, food is like his medicine. What if I ate this way? Like, food, what can food do for my skin? And then I like went over to Google. Why I had never Googled psoriasis is beyond me. Because there was all of these videos and documentaries and books and blogs and oh my God, there was so much stuff about food and the connection to healing autoimmune diseases and things like that. And then I just started reading so much stuff. I became like obsessed. And I'll continue to tell you what I did, but I just want you to have that connection really clear. I didn't really discover the how. The how came to me through my dog. My dog was my biggest teacher. And I 100% believe that that was orchestrated by something way bigger than me. And in the bathroom that day, I was begging the universe for this answer on how to love myself, and it showed me the way. So, you know, the rest of my story in a nutshell is that I started eating whole food. I started to remove processed food. Eventually, I removed anything that caused inflammation, like dairy and gluten and coffee and alcohol. And it sounds terrible. It sounds terrible to people who I tell that to. But within 10 months of time, my skin healed for the first time in over 20 years. And look, food is not just the answer. Food is one medication I take. Food is my medicine for sure. But there's a whole second piece to this, which is love, which is self-love, self-care. Because I learned the hard way that even though my skin healed and I was doing great, I'll never forget the day I could wear t-shirts. I kept going into the bathroom to just check. I was like, maybe it came back, maybe it came back. Let me just check. I was so scared. Like, I had all these emotions in me. I just, you know, you live with something for so long and it becomes your norm, that the new norm is like, takes a while to adjust and get used to it. But then over time, you know, living without psoriasis was amazing. And I loved my diet. I loved, you know, I had a whole new taste buds, whole new appetite for food. I got really creative in the kitchen. I started cooking, which I never did before. You're talking about the girl who lived on set shoving bagels down her face, and like that was it. And eating Doritos growing up and TV dinners. And like, I never knew what healthy food could, how enjoyable it could be. But then, you know, down the line, my journey, anytime I would go off the wagon and like not eat something that, you know, something acidic, something that caused inflammation, it's not like I would have a flare up right away or anything. There was plenty of times where I would experiment. Maybe I'd have a glass of wine on the holiday, and I'd be like inside, like, oh God, is this glass of wine gonna make me get spots? Like, there was a whole long emotional journey over the past, you know, 9 years now. It's a constant back and forth with food with me, constant back and forth. Even right now during the pandemic, I am like emotionally eating, I'm eating dairy, all these, all these things that I took out years ago. And I see spots on my skin. Like I see it, I feel it. You might not see it, but I can feel it, And it's just this is the journey. I know what I need to eat. I know how to take care of myself. And that's something I discovered along the way too, was it wasn't just about food. Food is secondary. Primary food is having healthy relationships with myself, with others, with my, having healthy exercise in your life, having healthy relationships overall, having a healthy relationship with money. That's a new one for me. Having, a connection to myself, paying attention to the words that come out of my mouth and the thoughts I think, and looking more positively at things. Just working on a connection with me, which I do through writing, I do through, being out in nature. All these small little things that are my self-care, my self-love, like hugging my husband every day, just learning how to be kind to myself, speaking to myself in a loving way, the way I would speak to you girls. Because let me tell you something, most days I don't talk to myself the way I speak to you. And I think a lot of people are guilty of that. We don't treat ourselves the way we treat others. And the most important relationship in our lives, with Shira, you say this all the time, is with ourselves. But anytime you even talk to people about their relationships, they never even mention themselves. I never knew I could even have a relationship with myself. That was all new to me at 35 years old. And now I've learned to make that my priority relationship. Like even my husband and I, if there's something that, he wants and I want to give him, he knows I have to take care of me first before I can give that to him. And it's like, I have to. You guys know that whole analogy with putting the mask on in the plane to like get your oxygen, otherwise you're no good to your child, giving them their oxygen because you're passed out over here if you don't give it to yourself. That whole analogy. It really is so true. Like we have to take care of ourselves first, and that looks so different for everyone. And I noticed my skin is the most healed when my self-care and when I'm giving myself the most love, when that is covered, like when I'm doing really well on that, sometimes my food will fall a little bit over here. And it's just this kind of constant balance, because life gets in the way and we're all so busy.
Yeah.
And
I think Zhuge had a question. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So what I was going to say to you, Kim, is that you're right. Obviously, it's an ongoing journey, first of all. And, making yourself a priority is not something that we were taught. I don't want to say that women aren't taught this as much as men, but I feel that I've always felt a little bit secondary in that way. But, you went on this journey. I know that you went to nutrition school, and then I know that you founded the Love Group. And that's why we're all here. You set the foundation for this group to come together. I mean, we all look to you as our fearless leader, so to speak. And, your original intent was so beautiful. Can you just share a little bit about how it came to be and like how we're all here right now together?
Yeah, that's such a great question, such a great way to kind of bring it full circle. During my healing journey, I was working in TV and I decided to go back to school for nutrition because I was just so amazed at what food was doing for my body, what it was doing for my dog. At the time I was blogging and I was talking to a lot of people in the skin disease world on forums. So I was helping a lot of people and I just was in love with helping others. It's like really something that I think is my purpose in life. So I went back to school for nutrition during the time I was working in TV. And then I went part-time in TV to build the Love Group, which is an empowerment agency where we have us speakers and we do motivational speaking. We teach self-care in so many different ways. And it just was something I felt so compelled to do. It was all very sort of natural in the way it all developed because I was just so amazed with how needed learning self-love, learning, like, self-love sounds so woo-woo, but we didn't learn how to love ourselves in school. We still don't. School
We
doesn't
didn't even learn
teach
how to
that.
like ourselves.
Yeah, right? You don't learn that in school. And I mean, how often in homes with growing up do you learn that from your parents? You know, I think our parents' generation just, they did what they had to do to survive and get by. And, you know, they did the best that they could. Everybody does. But a lot of people don't learn how to love ourselves in home or at school. So I just really felt compelled to like teach that. Like, imagine, you know, and I said this I did a TED talk about empowerment, and something I ended it with was like, what if loving yourself was homework? Can you even imagine going to school and having that as homework? I mean, I do it as homework now, right? As much as I can. I try to remember to do it every day or every other day. But can you imagine that being an assignment and having it like really ingrained that this is important enough to be part of academics? So I just felt so compelled to build the Love Group, this beautiful company. And, you know, out of that company came this connection with you guys. And then now we've decided to pivot direction and create this online talk show so that we can just impact so many people, you know, through this miraculous thing called technology. And it's really come full circle in my life. And I still work in TV part-time. And this is my passion for sure. I love, you know, talking. My 3 medications I take. One is food. Food is my medication. The second one is talking. Talking is my medication. And the third one is just consistently learning how to love myself. That is huge medication for me. Yeah.
I love that,
Well,
Kim.
Kim, like, you know, you created the Love Group with the intention of helping children, but I think one of the things that we've realized as a group is that adults need this as much, if not more, and being the examples to children is so important. Like, I know, Shira Lee, you have children. Kim and I don't, but we interact with children.
Mm-hmm.
And to lead by example is such an important thing. Just saying the word love myself is like, what does that even mean to kids?
It's a whole other language.
And it sounds selfish to a lot of people. It really does. Like, it's like we have to really just shift our perspective on what that means, because if my parents loved themselves to a place where they could, you know, my dad could have helped himself back then. He could have gotten the help he needed. He could have helped himself. If he loved himself enough, like he had the tools to do that. And my mom, she, you know, was able to have the tools growing up to love herself enough to be able to deal with the situation better. Then we would have grown up in a house full of tools to love ourselves and help and really just pitch in as a family and work together and have that communication and have love as like a weapon. Like that thought is like,
Yeah.
what?
No, I was just going to say it's so wonderful because I just think about evolution, right? So it's like, think about like several generations ago. They didn't even know anything about stuff, you know, about emotions and whatnot. So it's like, it's kind of exciting to see the evolution of consciousness and how we treat ourselves and how we treat others, how we treat the planet. I think a lot of what's going on right now is proof of that. You know, there's a chance to start over, you know? So it's like everyone's got to go inside right now and say, like, kind of take themselves on a mini journey, like it took you a long time. Like it's going to take all of us a long time. But the more aware you become, it's just such a beautiful thing when you think about it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Mostly it's this paradigm shift of awareness, you know, and whether it's through the generations or on a personal level, it's a major eye opener when we become aware of something else that's possible for us to do to elevate our life and make things better. It's incredible.
And I think too, you know, people have to be ready for that. You know, I remember in one of our last episodes, Taris was talking about something regarding nutrition. And she made it very clear, like, you have to be ready. And I was just ready, you know, like I was ready. And so even just to delve into having a relationship with yourself and what that looks like and what that means to you, we all have to get to a place where we're ready for it, you know, and that looks really so different for everyone. I just know that, you know, there's a reason why right now there's a lot of different organizations being developed across the country, across the world, dealing with mental health in schools, because I think people are starting to really realize that, you know, all these topics that they teach in academics, math, science, history are super important. But if you don't know how to handle and deal with your emotions as they're coming up inside of you, you're no good out in the world. Like math or science or history, all of these, they're not going to help you in your life be happy and whole and healthy. They're not. Like, it starts inside of us. It really starts all inside of us. And I think just having conversations like this is so helpful. It's very healing, and hopefully it like sparks some, you know, ahas or little nuggets in other people that maybe even just kind of open this up to them if it's not really on their radar.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing all that with us.
Well,
And
amazing.
speaking of ready, we're ready to wrap it up for now. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And we are, offering you these videos for your own learning and healing. So please subscribe to our channel if you feel like these videos are helping you in any which way. Please let us know if you have any topic requests or any questions, and comment right below. We will see you very soon. We thank you for watching, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye,
Love you,
everybody.
Kim.